Oh, the hero. But here we go. We're diving into our first series, our first best of 3, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Torches, we have the Red Terran player. We have the Red Terran himself representing Team Liquid, Atlanta, France. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Canadian Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss representing Basilisk. It is a Trigger. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our PVT. See in chat, has Clem played in the Evolution League? I don't recall. No. Clem does not play in SC Evo. Max Pax, he has played a little bit. So you might be thinking of Max Pax, but Max Pax, he has played a little bit of SC Evo. He's played like 2 weeklies or something. Played a little bit of it. But not Clem. Voyeur is watching. Exhibitionist is putting her bits on display. Observers are absolutely opening up the trench coat. I know. I know. They're flashing everyone. Aye, aye, aye. They want you to see. For now, though, we are settling in. Welcome to Torches. Torches is one of the more viewed maps in the map pool, so I'm a little bit surprised to see Torches as a part of this series. And coming into this, the rush distance by air is very short. As a result, Banshee play is quite common, quite popular on this map. Because of the popularity of Banshee play, we did see a rise of Stargate play as well to hard counter Banshees and to gain control early on. So the meta has been shifting back and forth a little bit here on Torches, and we'll see if Trigger is tempted into Stargate play if he does open up Twilight Council instead. For now, Economic Open out of Clem, going for a Rax Expand, a single gas out of our Terran player. Meanwhile, Trigger back at home, going for a standard opener so far himself. Of course, we have the goal base, but in TvP, this goal base doesn't really come into play until a longer and later game, until like a split map scenario. But that is a rare thing. It's quite rare. Here we go. Clem, too young to operate StarCraft 1 years? There are some like 15-year-old players that are playing StarCraft Evolution that I don't think ever touched Brood War. Like GG Machine, right? Like GG Machine, he does play SC Evo. A little bit of it. I want to say, who else? There's another that's like slipping my mind. But there's like a couple of players that are trying out SC Evolution that never touched Brood War. Never touched it. The Zoomers, happy the Zoomers. As now Trigger does poke in. Behind this we have our 1-1-1 setup. Trigger, he has yet to get a full scout. And I get shut down. Ooh, and hopefully everything is okay as we do get a little bit of a pause. We are on US West, and I believe Trigger, actually I don't know for certain. I know that Trigger, he went back to Canada for a little bit, for the tournaments, but I'm pretty sure he's back in, Korea right now. I could be mistaken though. I think he's back. Don't have to remind us. Yeah, he's back. Yeah, okay. Mudfish time. Let's go. Let's go. Don't have to remind us that there are players younger than StarCraft itself. There are. God. There are some babies out there playing SC2. Babies. For now, Trigger, again, he is going to be getting his robo here on 2 bases, throwing down extra gateways. It is not uncommon to take all 4 gases on 2 bases as well, especially in the current meta. So we'll keep it on Trigger, we'll see if he does take extra gases. For now, he's on 2 gates. Clem does go for his illuminated out. Remember, this is stimless. No stim, no combat shields, no upgrades. Yep, we are getting up to 4 gases. But again, this is more common nowadays. Much more common. Army's revealed. Trigger out of position. The shield battery is going to be going down. Not bad. Yeah, nice time with the shield battery. Marines, they start to step in. Nice dodge on the lock-on. Does break. Ooh, down goes another shield battery. Another battery goes down. Lock-ons are being broken. Yo, the cyclone not instantly relocking on is crazy. It's working as intended, Patty. Oh my god. Yeah, with that trigger, he will clean this up. He will shut this down. Cleans up every single marine. And trigger holds. There was some nice damage. Was able to get 2 probes, 2 shield batteries as well. But trigger, he does zone away. And when you take 4 gases on 2 bases, we're typically going for storm. So again, storm before the 3rd base. This is why all-ins have full amount of favor in this matchup. Is because of how safe Protoss players have been. And trigger does pull away. So again, trigger going for a delayed 3rd base. Because of that, if Clem didn't push, if Clem was more greedy, more economic, then trigger would be in a really rough position. But thankfully, Clem has been very aggressive. He's been very aggressive into a hybrid defensive player because Storm is about to begin, right? Storm is about to start. Speaking of, there it is. Storm is on the way. So a really fast Storm out of trigger. And Clem is still trying to be active. Oh, does get a tank. Yeah, a bit of miscontrol there by Clem. Does not pick up. Let's trigger Yasakai back. A little bit of awkward control there. The Immortal does try to pull away. Getting very low. Storm is not yet complete. Oh no, the Immortal goes down. Yeah, the Immortal does fall. Nice pick up on the tank. Gets one, gets both. But so many Stalkers go down. Still some expensive losses there for trigger. Chasing down the Raven. Trades against the Marines. And trigger holds. Yeah, trigger, he does hold. And behind this, again, Clem, he just now begins a 3rd CC. Just now, 3rd CC on the way. Extra maxes. Ghost Academy as well. It's all quite delayed here for Clem. And it did pay off for trigger to, again, just stay on 2 bases, not much longer. Now pick up Marines. Storm is now complete. Oh. Oh no! Liberator does not get away. The lib goes down. And Clem is in a rough position. Oh, true, the Raven did survive. True. Did survive. Clem has potential. Now, when it comes to trigger, he does have a big power spike here with his spellcasters, with his High Templar, but I don't think it's wise to push up the ramp into the natural here on torches. I feel like we should just calm down, wait for the Terran to come to trigger. Take it easy, take it easy. Or at least wait for Clem to expand. Speaking of, here comes the expansion. Here comes the 3rd. So as Clem expands, now he's exposing himself. So Clem is becoming more exposed. His army is now positioning here on the low grounds. This is where trigger can start to push in. But for now, trigger just staying at home defending. There's the Raven. Oof, getting caught out. Time to heal up again. True. The Raven can just back off and heal up. I see in the chat, what bracket is that bracket on? Is it Faceit? StarCraft 2 tournaments do not use Faceit. StarCraft 2, most if not every tournament is on Challenge. Challenge is a different tournament bracket that has been around for a very, very long time. I think Faceit is mainly like CSGO brackets, question mark. Clem is being active. Don't forget to hydrate. Robo's on the way. Bay as well, working towards Colossus. And this is where the new Ghost is going to come into play. So winding it back here, for those that do not remember, the Ghost now requires less supply. So from 3 to 2. So the Ghosts are now cheaper supply-wise, so you can make more Ghosts. The downside is the Ghost is now a light unit. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, that works and that mainly impacts like Ling Bane micro against Ghost. That is one factor that is true, but another big factor is the Colossus. If you were here this morning, Shameless, he rolled the hell over Bjorn with Bjorn rushing into Ghost, and Shameless, he was actually skipping Storm going into fast Colossus production, and Bjorn just could not keep up. He could not keep up, not with the heavy Ghost composition. The Ghosts were just melting against the Colossus. So Colossus are going to be definitely a big power spike here for Trigger. Viking production has already begun, and we'll see how the armies do engage with each other, as both players are maxing out. So the Ghosts are a lot more vulnerable, more so than they used to be. The Ghosts are a lot more fragile. Scan reveals a Colossus. As the main army's moving in. How many storms? 6. 6 High Templar. You're to move in. Storm does zone. I mean, the zoning hits quite different here. It does zone away. Flanking Storm's going to be coming in. Does connect. Does connect. We have more storms available as well. Clem has to back up. Army stems in. He commits. He's going for it. Yeah, does go for the dive. The first 2 Colossus are going to be going down. Does get one. The other barely survives. Yeah, Jesus, the storms are brutal though. But we're running out of storms, running out of splash damage. Yeah, without splash damage, Trigger has to get the hell out of here. Down to 1 Colossus, 0 storm. And Trigger, whatever saying, are welcome, I feel. Thankfully, Clem doesn't chase. Doesn't chase. Trigger, he has to back off. We got to warp in more High Templar. Clemmy scans. He's going for it. Nice EMP. Have the reinforcing Templar. Down to 1. The army's heavily overstimmed. One more storm would be ideal. Now getting another Colossus. How many Vikings? Only 4. Oh. Yeah, only 4 Vikings. That is a concern. Now we're building up to 3 Colossus. We got 2 more on the way, getting up to 5. Yeah, nice focus fight here on the Vikings. Colossus, they can go to town. 1 Viking left. Yeah, 1 Viking remaining. The Colossus, they just mowed down the Bio army. They at least tried to. He's stepping in. Nice concave. Nice concave. He does break through. And not enough support. Not enough support. Barely not. The Colossus, they're on their own. They're on their own. Back. Clem breaks through. He breaks through, but doesn't quite keep pushing. Now, what's concerning here is that Trigger, he can rebuild, he can remax. He's already up to 3 Colossus. High Templar morphing in. The lack of gas income is hurting him. True. Like, we're staying on a very low gas count. And it does feel like we've been missing some Zealot Warpins. Oh. How many Vikings left? Getting to 6. Okay, solid Viking count. Viking count is solid. Nice storm in the bio. This is where I would love to see, instead of more Colossus disruptors, like the Viking count is getting quite high. That's a lot of Vikings. We got 6, soon to be 10 Vikings. Trigger, where we headed? Dirt gets around it. Does rotate around. Okay, does rebuild. Still very tense. Speaking of disruptors, here we go. They're on the way. How many robos? 2. Still only 2. The disruptors are coming. Oh, bit of a premature storm. Yeah, a little bit premature. These are the only two Templar as well. Trigger, he has one storm available. He pulls back. He pulls back. He does not energy overcharge. We need those disruptors. Maybe connects. That's the one storm. Disruptor has arrived. Nova does zone. No connection. Nice saving the Colossus. Nice save. Clem is moving in. One storm again grazes the army. Disruptors are coming. Trigger's on the chase. Disruptors have arrived. Shows us Novas. Once again, a little bit premature. A little bit premature there, but more disruptors are coming in. There we go. Nova goes off. Does connect. Do you have another Nova? Needs another. Oof. And catching out a Ghost. Ghost goes down. No, Nova does not quite connect. Nice target firing. Oh! Oh my god! What? I think it connected, Matthew. Ay, ay, ay. Trigger does end a Nova. Juicy Nova, Matthew. Ay, ay, ay. Trigger is holding his own. Catching up the Raven. Getting more disruptors. Trigger does have a flanking storm. Once again, that doesn't quite connect. Nova's popping off. Ooh, nice target firing though. Yeah, claiming target fire as well. Denies the Novas. Catching out Templar. There's 2 Templar remaining. Trigger trying to chase him down. And these Vikings, they're turning into, oh god, as he does crazy army. 3 Ghosts going down. That's a lot of Vikings for 1 Colossus. They're a little bit dead supply. And Colossus does fall. Vikings are not helping. Another brutal connection. The Novas. Oh my god. They're popping. Oh no, not again. Oh, does overshoot. Ah, that had potential. That had a lot of potential. Trigger does overshoot. Still hanging on. Oh, Liberators have arrived. True. No range yet. Yeah, but doesn't quite connect. Trigger getting a little bit trigger happy there. Calm down, baby. Calm down. Trying to send those Novas. Another base goes down. Trigger, he is at least still expanding, taking more bases. Fresh bases on the way, rotating over. Hasn't really touched the economy of Clem, hasn't been able to. Ooh, leaves out a disruptor. And some rough movement. Rough movement out of Trigger. Steering forward once again, we'll lose an Immortal. Nice pickles here by Clem. Runmine runs into a planetary, won't do much. And Trigger is getting bullied here. Ah, god, losing. What? That's what, the 3rd disruptor already in these past couple of moments. Yeah, Trigger is falling apart a little bit here, throwing away another disruptor. He needs those Novas. We can't be throwing them away. Oh, who is it? Indy? Me? The Indy! No! Feels bad, man. Indy. Unfortunately, 2nd time today. Indy, he's our Polish caster, of course. Much love to Indy, much love. But today is not his day. Today is not his day. 2nd time now. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Indy. Por favor. Poland is struggling. Poland's fine. It's just, unfortunately, Indy. Bobbity. Someone has to take up that Emil mantle. Someone's got to do it. You know? Someone's got to lift it up. Here it's Indy. Someone's got to carry that mantle back. Yeah. There must always be one Emil. Always. As Trigger is going to calm down. The Liberator count is getting a little bit out of hand. With a high Liberator count, this is when you do have to, or typically you are required to switch into Sky Toss. Finally, we get some kind of economic damage. Storming some of the bio. Zelsay move in. But the Liberation here is just brutal. Liberation has arrived. There's too much freedom. Too much back. Now, you can brute force this with a gateway composition, but it is difficult. It is difficult to break through and to get under those Liberators. It is not easy. So there's a lot of pressure here on Trigger. And Clem does have the advantage. Oh, nice snipe. No detection. Zells, they do get a ghost. They catch some army. And you can see how safe these Liberators are, for the most part. Oh. Picking up some Vikings here and there. Major pickups. And again, Trigger, he's not set up to get into Sky Toss, to get into his Tempest. Novas are connecting though. Clem not paying attention. Oh my god, he will lose everything. Yeah, Clem implements in supply. He will lose his main army. At the same time, Zelsay busts into the middle line. There's 7 more SCVs going to be going down. Trigger, now's the time. Get the libs. He's moving in. Getting 1, 2, 3 Liberators going to be going down. Nice pickups. Clem falling apart a little bit here. Making mistakes. Clem does make some mistakes. Trigger, how many gateways are we on? 14. We need those warp ins. We need those charge slots. The lack of gas is hurting. Yeah, gas is just not being taken. We need more gas. There it goes up. Oof. Does connect. Storms will punish. Clem, he runs through the storm. Oh god, he's running through the storms. Not like this. Clem, calm down. Respect the storms. Now while Clem is distracted, the planetary does barely go down. Trigger collapsing in, coming from behind. Picks up another Liberator. It's not quite. There we go. Liberator goes down. Now going back to Colossus, no more Vikings. Still very intense. On the one hand, Trigger, he's been getting some better pickups, but at the same time, he keeps on losing his High Templar and his Disruptors. Like, Trigger's had some very expensive losses. That's why the low gas count is hurting him. You know, to retain that portion of the army is just not happening here. And Clem is just out trading. He's just out scaling. Clem just chasing him down. Going down with liberation zones. So, because they work through some of those Liberators. Only some, though. Ay. The Freedom bullies Trigger back. Oof. Colossus, they cannot engage. Trigger catching reinforcements. Not bad. Forcing back Clem. Clem turns around. Catching out Medivacs, catching out Liberators as well. Trigger, some nice pickups. He's looking for damage. He's like, where can I find a base that is not a planetary? Adonde, baby, adonde. Zelsa do a full lap. They don't find a base to move into. At least the Zelsa make it out. Make it back home, kind of. Oh. Uh-oh. Has to be careful. This Trigger just cannot take these gold bases. It's hard work for the Terran. I mean, the Clem has had the advantage for quite some time because of his Mass Liberator. Like, I would say the Trigger has been punching up for the past, like, 8 minutes, and it's impressive. Like a lesser Protoss would have, or even an equivalent, if not greater Protoss, would have just died quite some time ago. So Trigger has been hanging in there, hanging on, like a solid 8 minutes. But again, it's still very much so an uphill battle. Clem has had the advantage, and Clem is moving in. And I don't see this army being stopped, I'll be honest here. Storm does help zone, which tries to. Premier sends in, mass EMP, and Clem should just roll over. He should just roll over this army. Clem breaks through the main army, takes down the expansion. Again, like, this army cannot be dealt with. The Trigger, he just cannot keep up. The quality of the army just is not there. And again, it's been impressive that Trigger survived for as long as he did, but never doesn't quite connect. It never doesn't go up. And GG gets called. GG gets called. Clem, he will take game number 1. He will take a lead in the series. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Again, Clem, once he got into his Mass Liberator, he was in control of this game. I mean, I say that even before that, I was very impressed by the fact that Clem, he almost never lost any SCVs. It took a very long time for any kind of harassment to come out from Trigger. That is also partly because of the map, right? The map is a little bit more narrow, it's a little bit more congested, so it's more difficult to pull off these run-bys and counterattacks. As a result, Clem, his bases back at home were left for the most part untouched. There were some situations where eventually Trigger, he was able to get into the mineral lines, able to take down some bases, but they were few and far between, and for the most part, Trigger, he could not quite keep up, and he unfortunately wasn't quite able to retain his high-tech army either. Time and time again, Trigger was losing High Templar, losing Immortals, losing Colossus, and losing Disruptors. That is why he had a really hard time rebuilding, remaxing. He had a lot of minerals, but he had no gas because he was losing all of his Robotech units. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're getting into game 2, and we'll see if Trigger can bounce back. We'll see if he can force the ace match. Let's go. Let us go. Getting into game 2. Thank you for casting all these games. I recently found this channel and have been really enjoying the casting. Oh, thank you, thank you. Do appreciate it, do appreciate it. Less than 3. So now getting into our next game and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ley Lines, we have the French Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Team Liquid, leading the series 1-0. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Protoss. We have the blue Protoss himself, the Canadian Protoss representing Basilisk. It is a Trigger. Here we go. Glad he found us, glad he found us. Storm seems like a good zoning tool. Currently, especially when it comes to the late game, Storm is mainly a zoning tool, but as you saw, like, eventually Storm is a non-factor just because the ghost count gets so high and the Liberator count gets so high as well. Like, Storm, it's something that becomes a part of the army, but you need those disruptors, and again, it can be really difficult to keep up with Mass Liberator without Sky Toss. Specifically on a map like Torches, you don't really get the momentum to get into Sky Toss. On these larger maps, for example, Ley Lines, Tokamak, Maganatha, I could see Trigger having a much cleaner transition into Sky Toss in the late game if it goes in that direction, as it should be easier for Trigger to maintain the fringe bases and max out. So again, the maps, they do factor in quite heavily, and now we're getting into Ley Lines. My internet is back. Oh no. Good to see you, Slayer. Thanks. Good to hear. Good to hear that your internet has returned. Good to hear. As the tournament is progressing. Here we do have a more economic opener here by Clem, just going Rack Expand into a delayed factory. Oh, hello, into a second Rax. You have my attention. Interesting. Does go for the second Rax. Behind this, we can go for, yep, a third Rax, 2-base all in. This screams 2-base all in. This is a very old school build, actually, so I'm a little bit surprised to see it. Basically, what we're doing here is we're delaying the starport. Heavily delayed starport in favor of marine production, in favor of stim, in favor of a heavy biocomposition in the early to mid game, and this typically leads into an all in. You can opt to skip the starport entirely and pull the boys. Pull the boys with like 2-3 tanks. Hyper aggressive out of Clem, and the hallucination sees everything. And Trigger, he knows. Trigger, he sees, he knows, he's fully aware of the 3 max. And behind this, Trigger should just play safe. Just play it safe. You get up to 3 gateways. Ooh, I do like this, going for a Dark Shrine. Specifically, if you believe your opponent is going for an all-in, DTs can work wonders. Why? Well, because scans are limited, especially when you're going for an all-in. You are muling as much as possible, right? You want to mule as much as you can, you want to squeeze out, and you want to get as many minerals as you can to pull this all-in off. So the scans are going to be quite limited. Going to be very limited here for Clem. So a really smart play out of Trigger. Reaper Scout is denied. Oof. Reaper goes down. And Trigger even opening up charge as well. Very safe. Now, if Clem were to get a third CC here and play defensive after being scouted, like, we can get into the mid game. Like, there's a world where Clem can just slow things down because he knows he got scouted. He can choose to expand. It's going to be awkward because it would mean that his stim timing doesn't lead to anything. So it's a hard pill to swallow for sure. As Trigger is moving in with the DTs. Ideally, you want to wait for Clem to move out, right? You want to wait for the Terran army to start pushing, and then you hit with the Dark Templar. But it looks like Trigger is going to hit first, which I'm not too fond of. You get lock on the Prism. Prism is zoned away. Here we go, DT into the natural. There is a scan. Soon. Turret does fall. There's the first scan. We get one scan in the main. Prism is going to go down, but DT's to unload, and there's no more scans, but there is a turret. Yeah, the turret will finish in the natural, sorry, in the main. Turret on the way in the natural. Going for the add-ons. Okay. And hey, gets a tech lab. Oh no! Yeah, it was unfortunately was on a move. Still getting a couple of SCVs. Not bad. Lock-on is broken. Does force out another scan. Scan is forced out. We have defensive DTs, but I'll be honest, I don't know if this is enough damage. Like, because here comes the all-in. DTs are catching reinforcements. But this is still a massive army. I think this might just be too much. Yeah, there's the first scan. Trigger, I don't think he can save the base. Yeah, he cannot engage. It's not going to happen. Army Star steps in. Stalker's going down, and Clem is just going for the kill, going for the throats. The DTs just were not worth it. I say that. Oh, Trigger, he's holding. Okay. He's holding on. Oh, the D, let's go! The DT! He's there to clean up. Do we have a scan? The answer is no. Wow, no scan. Free damage, the DTs. It was close. Again, that fight there was brutal. He lost 2 Immortals, lost a lot of Stalkers. It was looking like it was going to be over then and there, but no, Trigger. He barely holds. He gets his 3rd. We got another DT waddling in. And remember, the longer this game goes on, the worse it is for Clem. Whew, okay. Clem is being chased down. Oh, Trigger has to be careful. The Trigger, he does overextend. He should not be down here. Trying to bait out some mine shots. Leading out Stalkers. These are expensive losses for Trigger. DT now moving in. And Trigger, we're going to calm down. DT does chase. Oh. And a nice realization. He spots a DT. He's now working on a 3rd CC. Very late 3rd base out of Clem, but he's working on it. And without splash damage, it's still going to be a clutch hold. Still going to be clutch. There's the scan. Then moving in. Does try to lock down the army. Mine shots going off. Oof. Oh, brutal connections. Jeez, that's a lot of mines. Some of the mines do connect. Trigger, he's surviving. And we're taking up into Colossus. Okay. Colossus are on the way. Trigger, he's almost there. Casito, casito. Clem rallying over towards the 4th. Speaking of Trigger, his 4th base is late. He needs that 4th expansion as Clem is now on a 3-base economy. Clem has a superior economy here. He's up on economy, up on mining. Trigger is going to be outscaled if he doesn't expand soon. Trigger's going for the run by. Run by, going for the counter attack. Up. Still being active. Still pushing in. Now we finally have Colossus. Likewise, there are Vikings. 6 Vikings already. Still no 4th? To Trigger. Clem is already working on a 4th CC himself. We need an expansion, papi. Ay, ay, ay. And Trigger is falling behind. He's falling behind Clem. He should be able to overwhelm and surpass the supply, the army supply. Clem should be the first to max out. And he should even be able to freely take up into Liberators. At this point, we might just go all in, to be honest. I think at this point, Trigger, he's going to be quite committed. He's on 2 High Templar, no Storm. Trying to move in. A lot of this will come down to the Vikings and their positioning. Trigger just now expanding. Currently 9 Vikings, soon to be 11. Trigger, he does that position. Wedges himself in the bases. Clem out of position. Trying to race over. Poison being pulled. And Clem, can he make a stand? And he should reset the Colossus count. All the Colossus are going to be going down. He has a heavy Marauder army. And Clem, he should just shut down this army. Yeah, he sims and he sims and he wins. Cleans everything up. That's all the Trigger had. He had nothing behind this. Still trying to get a 4th base. And now it's time to just send it. Clem, he has triple the army supply. Send it, Papi, send it. Again, it was just a really rough game for Trigger. He just couldn't expand. He tried. He tried multiple times to get a 4th base, but he just could not expand. He was just outscaled. Could not keep up. Not economically. And again, that push from Trigger, he was all in. Like, it was all or nothing. That's all he had left. Clem, he sims on forward, chases down the Colossus. Colossus goes down, and Clem, he will break the 3rd. Down to 4 Stalkers. The curve beam is real. GG gets called as Clem. He will break through, he will overwhelm, and he will claim the series 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Clem. Again, game 1 was very close, very back and forth. Here in game 2, Trigger, he was just contained. Initially it made sense because Clem was all in. Remember, Clem, he was all in, but it was a really shaky response out of Trigger. His response was going into DTs, going into Dark Templar, which did have a lot of potential, of course, but it does feel like they were a little bit lackluster. In the end, Trigger, he survived the all-in from Clem, but he never really had momentum himself. He was losing a lot of supply in the defense. It was a shaky defense there, and Clem was able to catch up and overwhelm and get his 3rd base, keep up supply-wise, extend his lead. GG, well played. Oh. As we are getting into our next game, as we're getting into our next series. Let's go.